Have you ever wondered who are the most notorious bank robbers in history? It's a question that triggers a sense of intrigue and excitement, isn't it? Bank robberies have always been a topic of fascination. There's something about the daring, the audacity, and the cunning strategies that captures our imagination. In the annals of crime history, there are names that echo louder than most. These are the figures that, despite their illicit activities, have etched their stories into the fabric of our collective memory. They are the most notorious bank robber gangs of all time. From the Wild West of America to the bustling cities of Europe, these groups have left a trail of bewildering heists and audacious escapades. They've outsmarted law enforcement, executed grand schemes, and in some cases, even managed to disappear without a trace. Every heist tells a unique story, a tale of ambition, desperation, or sheer audacity. So hold on to your seats as we journey through time, exploring the audacious escapades of these infamous criminals. Starting our countdown, we go back to the late 19th century with the Reno Gang. Emerging from the United States, the Reno Gang is infamous for their audacious crimes and is often credited as the first brotherhood of thieves in the country. The gang of four brothers, Frank, John, Simeon, and William Reno, along with a few other accomplices, were notorious for their train and bank robberies. Their most audacious act, the robbery of an Ohio and Mississippi railway train in May of 1868, which netted them a staggering $96,000. That's like making off with nearly $2 million in today's money. But their criminal career was not to last. By December of the same year, their reign of terror was brought to a halt by a vigilante group known as the Southern Indiana Vigilance Committee. Their reign ended with a vigilance group, showing that no one can escape justice forever. Next on our list is the Dalton Gang, notorious outlaws of the Wild West. This gang, formed by three brothers, Bob, Grat, and Emmett Dalton, was a formidable force in the late 19th century. These men, originally lawmen turned outlaws, left their mark on history with their audacious crimes. Their biggest heist took place in Coffeyville, Kansas, their hometown. In an audacious move, the gang attempted to rob two banks simultaneously on October 5th, 1892. However, this bold endeavor wasn't successful. Alerted by their suspicious behavior, the townsfolk armed themselves and were ready for the gang when they emerged from the banks. In the ensuing gunfight, 4 gang members, including Bob and Grat Dalton, were killed. Only Emmett Dalton survived, severely wounded. He was sentenced to life in prison, but was paroled after 14 years for good behavior. Their bid for infamy ended in a hail of bullets, marking an end to their lawless rampage. Moving into the 20th century, we encounter the ruthless Barker Karpis gang. This notorious gang, led by Alvin Karpis and the Barker brothers, was an embodiment of the public enemy era, a period marked by rampant lawlessness in the United States. Operating during the Great Depression, the Barker Karpis gang was known for their violent bank and train robberies, kidnappings, and murders. They were responsible for one of the biggest kidnappings of the era, when they abducted wealthy businessman William Ham and demanded a ransom of $100,000. Their daring exploits and ruthless tactics made them one of the most feared criminal organizations of their time. However, the reign of the Barker Karpis gang was not to last forever. With the formation of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the gang found itself under intense scrutiny. Ultimately, their downfall came in the mid-30s when they were apprehended by the FBI. Their reign of terror came to an end by the hands of the FBI, marking a new era in law enforcement. Fast-forwarding to the turn of the century, we meet a gang with a flair for theatrics, the Pink Panthers. This isn't your typical band of thieves. They're an international syndicate, hailing from the war-torn Balkans, and they've made a name for themselves with some of the most audacious heists in history. They're not just thieves, they're showmen. Their robberies are elaborate, daring, and meticulously planned. Their biggest coup, a jaw-dropping theft in Dubai where they made off with a staggering $360 million worth of jewelry. But what sets the Pink Panthers apart is not just their theatrical flair. It's their uncanny ability to vanish into thin air, leaving authorities scratching their heads. This has earned them a reputation as the ghosts of the criminal world. However, they're not entirely invincible. Over the years, authorities have managed to apprehend several members of the gang, showing that even the cleverest criminals can't escape justice forever. Despite the glamour and audacity, many members have been apprehended, proving that crime doesn't pay in the long run. From the Wild West to modern times, bank robbers have always captured the public's imagination. We've journeyed through a century of daring heists, from the Reno gang's audacious exploits in the post-Civil War era to the sleek, contemporary operations of the Pink Panthers. Each gang, unique in their methods and motives, left an indelible mark on crime history. Yet despite the allure of their tales, the common thread running through each narrative is the inevitable downfall. Some face the ultimate price, their lives abruptly ended by the law's firm hand, while others spent the remainder of their days confined within prison walls. Their fleeting moments of infamy were swiftly overshadowed by the enduring consequences of their choices. While their stories may be fascinating, they ultimately serve as a reminder of the high price of crime. Until next time, stay safe, and remember, crime doesn't pay.